Welcome to This Explainer. I am so incredibly excited to dig into today's topic with you. When we usually study educational presentations, we spend literally all of our energy obsessing over the introduction, the hook, or those heavy data points right in the middle. But today we're going to flip that script entirely. We're going to deconstruct exactly why the ending of an educational presentation is actually the absolute most critical part of the entire experience if you want to see true behavioral change. And to do this, we're drawing directly from two super fascinating sources: an educational slide deck called The Path to Positive Habits and a meta-analysis of that exact presentation titled The Sunny Path to Positive Change. We are essentially going to look under the hood of a single closing slide to figure out the actual mechanics of motivation. Okay, let's just dive right into this by taking a direct question from our source material and throwing it straight back at you. What is one good habit you want? Now, that is the verbatim text the source presentation uses to close out its lesson. Notice what it doesn't do? It doesn't ask you to regurgitate what you just learned. It doesn't ask you to summarize the data. It instantly points the spotlight directly at your future actions. As we unpack this over the next few minutes, I really want you to keep this specific question in the back of your mind. Think about how answering it literally shifts you from just being a passive listener into an active participant in your own life. So let's kick things off with Section 1, the concluding reflection. Now, our source meta-analysis, the sunny path to positive change, gives us a really precise definition to work with here. It defines the ending not simply as a quick goodbye or a wrap-up, but as a concluding reflection. It actually categorizes this as a motivational closing explicitly designed to inspire individuals to take the very first step toward behavioral change. I really want to highlight just how massive that is. The source is telling us the ultimate goal isn't just knowledge transfer, it's a deliberate psychological launchpad. If an explainer ends without this kind of motivational closing, it basically drops the baton right before the finish line. The whole architecture of this conclusion is built to ignite action. Now let's see how that works in practice with Section 2. Identifying a personal goal. Let's look really closely at the exact phrasing from the speaker notes in The Path to Positive Habits. The speaker specifically asks, what is one good habit you want to build? Now notice that little keyword there, one. Instead of overwhelming the learner with some massive, intimidating list of lifestyle overhauls, the source explicitly guides them to pinpoint just a single personal goal. Honestly, this is a brilliant tactic for empowering people, just like our meta-analysis points out. Because, when you ask someone to change everything all at once, they usually end up changing absolutely nothing. But by framing the reflection around one specific goal, the barrier to entry drops dramatically. It makes self-improvement feel entirely doable and deeply personal. The source notes hit the nail on the head here by offering two completely different but highly accessible examples. The speaker prompts the audience with, maybe sharing more, or reading every night. Notice the total contrast there. Reading consistently, well, that's a solitary internal routine. But practicing generosity, or sharing more, that's an external, highly social behavior. By providing these two contrasting examples side by side, the presentation makes sure every single listener can picture a path forward, no matter their personality type. It's proof that a personal goal doesn't have to be some earth-shattering shift. It can literally be as simple as just picking up a book before bed. Which brings us to our next crucial point in Section 3, sunny and visual encouragement. So words are great, but text and speaker notes alone aren't always enough to make a message truly stick. We actually need to boost that self-confidence visually. To do this, the source presentation introduces a really supportive character named Sunny. And Sunny is holding a sign featuring this exact, incredibly empowering quote, "I can do it." The speaker notes totally mirror this enthusiasm, directly telling the audience you can do it. Now, this isn't just about being blindly cheerful. According to the meta-analysis, this is a highly distinct method to boost self-confidence. It's designed to flip the internal dialogue in your brain from "I should do this" to "I can do this." It's such a simple phrase, but locking it in visually gives the viewer a powerful anchor for their own self-belief. The source actually details three very specific visual components used for this encouragement. You've got the supportive character, Sunny, the "I can do it" sign, and a big heart. The meta-analysis flags these not just as cute little doodles, but as highly calculated mechanisms of visual encouragement. So why does this matter so much? Because when someone is actually contemplating a real behavioral change, they are usually fighting a ton of self-doubt. The visual of Sunny offers this friendly, completely non-judgmental presence. The sign gives him a clear mantra. And the big heart? Well, that universally signals warmth and support. Together, these cues work in tandem to empower the learner. It just goes to show that effective educational design has to prioritize emotional and visual impact just as much as the cold, hard facts.
Let's pull this all together now in our final part, Section 4, Inspiring True Behavioral Change.
If we synthesize everything we've pulled from the sunny path to positive change, it's like a giant puzzle coming together. We can clearly see the underlying mechanics of this closing follow a very distinct psychological progression. Step 1, empower the learners by asking them to identify just a single personal goal. Step 2, boost their self-confidence using visual encouragement cues like Sunny and that I can do it sign. And finally, step 3, initiate behavioral change. This linear progression is literally the secret sauce. You absolutely cannot jump straight to behavioral change without first empowering the learner and boosting their confidence. The source material basically proves that a perfect closing reflection seamlessly walks the audience through these 3 crucial steps in just a matter of seconds. Because ultimately, the entire point of this motivational closing comes down to taking the first step. The source notes might wrap up with a cheerful "see you next time," but the real work? That happens after the explainer ends. The entire goal is to ensure the learner walks away genuinely ready to take that all-important first step toward a positive habit. The big takeaway for us here is that whether you're designing a presentation yourself or just trying to build a new habit in your own life, simply identifying the goal is just the warm-up. The true measure of success is creating an environment, both internally and visually, that makes taking that very first step feel not just possible, but completely inevitable. So I want to leave you right now with a provocative thought, directly applying everything we just analyzed to you. Now that you intimately understand the mechanics of positive reinforcement, the absolute power of identifying a single goal, and the strict necessity of visual encouragement to boost your confidence, what first step will you take today to build your new habit? The tools are literally right in front of you. You have the blueprint. You can do it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly, highly encourage you to go take that step today.